Hello, everyone. Welcome to Y.E.A.S.T, your energetic, authentic self today. I'm Sheila.
I am Hope.
Hello from Joy.
So this podcast, we want to talk about asking for help. So for you, Hope, how does that show up for you?
Asking for help wasn't an easy or natural thing for me. I grew up in a culture where we value independence, capability. If we can do it ourselves, we'll never ever ask for someone else. And there's some phrase of trying to train everybody to be strong, like you would rather bleed than cry, and don't cry, there's nothing to cry about, and things like that. So asking for help absolutely not something natural to me. And later on, I can share some examples of how far I went about not asking for help.
Thank you for that. How about for you, Joy? How does asking for help show up for you?
I guess I'm a little different. Like I think I'm always okay asking for help. Like I shared before, for me, every prospect in the life, I try to make the partnership. So I think asking for help is one of the ways for me to actually go forward with a lot of things in my life.
So it sounds like asking for your help is perhaps more natural for you than I'll say most of us, including me, in that. How true is that?
Yeah, I think so. What about you, Sheila?
I would say early on, I'll say in my development, both from a personal and career standpoint, much like Hope, it was independent, do it myself. I would practically have to be dying before I would ask for help on a personal level. And then a professional level, it was just do it all myself, and perhaps feeling that I had to in order to prove myself early on in my career. Since then, I've learned, particularly from a leadership standpoint, to ask for help and see that as an opportunity, not just for growth for myself, but also for those that are part of my team, because it would help them learn and grow as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Hope, for you, you indicated that you would share later, you would share a story of how asking for help may have, I'll use the word, prevented you or interfered with your abilities at time. What does that look like for you?
So I have I have raised two kids. One is 20, one is 16. Within like the 10 years when they were younger, they're 5 years apart, and never ever hired a babysitter to take care of them so that I can do something different or going to a movie, things like that. Because I always feel that taking care of my kids is my responsibility, it's nobody else. Of course, I may ask my parents to take care of them for me to do something different, but never ever thought about having a friend or paying someone to take care of them. And that's how much that I want to do it myself mentality. I can give you another example that not very long ago, actually, probably 6 or 5 years ago, when my dad was in hospital and I was staying with him. And at home, my daughter was having a fever. And as you can imagine, as a single parent, I can't clone myself in 2 different places, and both needed my help, my support. And at that time, actually, that's one thing that I remembered really deeply, that I actually went for help. I used a group of chat and asked for my friends and talked to them about the situation. And I said, I truly need your help. Can someone go and take a look at my daughter, how she is doing? And my friends, of course, they all jumped in, including Joy, and cooking food for my daughter and drop off, things like that. But I can tell you that I felt, even though I was touched by my friends, how helpful they were, but in my mind, I was deeply troubled or hurt that I couldn't be in two places at the same time. So, of course, just like you, Sheila, I was able to change and realize that I can't do everything by myself. I will need help from other people, both personally and at work. But it's not like joy. It's not natural for me.
Well, and I get that as well, because for me, even though I said I'm more likely to do it now, it still is, it takes me telling myself to get out of my head and just ask for help. Because what's the worst that can happen? Someone tells me no, but at least I asked for, what I wanted in that moment. And frankly, I have yet to be told no, refuse anything. Most people, when I've shown up, right, to ask for help, people
Yeah.
show up for me in various ways to provide the support that I'm looking for in that moment. Having said that, it still takes some time of coaching myself and just saying, ask for it. What's the worst that can happen?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking from the friend side, right? I think we all have the friends in the real life that whenever you need help, they would happy to come over right away, do whatever that's helping you. And I also have the experience, when the friends knows what you need help for, but you didn't ask, and they could feel offended. Like, I cannot believe you did not ask for my help, or you did not ask for me, because, am I really your friends?
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
I
I've
think
heard
that's
that.
I think that's a good perspective to think about it. You're absolutely right, right? I love to help other people. But one thing that I don't want to ask other people to help me is because I thought it could be a burden to them. But we all know, all three of us, we love to help other people, provide value to them. But I would say that I do feel differently at work and in personal life. At work, I feel that I am more willing to talk to other people to see, how did you do this? How did you do that? So that I don't have to waste my energy to reinvent wheels, right? So
I agree. I think professionally asking for help can be one of the most effective ways to collaborate with people, right? When you work on something, they have expertise, and you ask for help, and you form the collaboration.
yeah.
Agreed. And I, once again, aligning with Hope, I'm more likely to do it in my professional life than what I am in my personal life. And once again, I show up and support friends in various ways. I'm that person, they will call, text, or whatever that looks like. But I have been in that camp of, when I share with a friend that, hey, I went through this, I really could have used some support, and I'm getting, I'll label it the criticism, but really it's the support from friends saying, what's wrong with you? You totally could have called me. Why would you handle that or do that yourself? So, much as we would for each other and our other friends, all of our friends are willing to show up and support us. We just have to ask for what we want.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that barrier is in our own head. That's what it is. And I feel that once we overcome that barrier, that limiting belief of our own, and I start to see, oh, I can certainly ask for help from my friends for this, for that, and even for asking for traveling tips into different cities, things like that. In the past, I may just do research by myself, right? Now it's like, oh, you
Yeah.
have been to that city. Where did you visit? And what are your tips? And things like that. And Joy shared a Chicago trip. I'm like, I'm going there as well. Where did you visit? What's your route? Where did you stay?
we can just follow the whole itinerary.
Right. Which really, it's very
I
helpful.
also, yeah, And I think talking about it professionally and even in the real life, and sometimes when we ask for help in regards to their opinion, right? The other people can also feel heard, being respected, and they would, in addition to loving, helping you provide whatever you needed, and you might also, form the relationship, or either establish a new relationship or maybe develop existing relationship, because people would appreciate, secretly or maybe openly saying like, I'm glad you asked me. Yes, I know a lot about this one. And if you want to do this and that, and here are the ideas, you can do it much better. That's just something pop into my head as well. Like, Hope you mentioned, sometimes we stay in our own head, but we forget to think about, what's a different way to look at that, and how does it feel if we put ourselves in other people's shoes. That might help us to think a lot like, okay, yeah, it's actually a lot of benefits than hurting anyone.
Yeah,
Well said.
absolutely.
Agreed.
I can tell you that Joy is very good at asking for help from all different kinds of people.
Well, good for
She's
you,
very good
Joy.
at building relationships through asking for help.
Well, look what great friends I have here, right? Hope and Sheila. This is, I think you might overlook yourself as well. You also have awesome friends and great relationship. If we look deeper, you absolutely will find a lot more stories in your own life too.
All
Well,
right.
absolutely, Joy. And I think you're spot on, because I think back, and we've talked about this in previous podcasts, as to how we came to come together to do this
Yeah.
podcast. And it started out with, an idea, and then me asking for support to carry it forward. And you two have shown up in amazing ways time and time again. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. I appreciate you both for your willingness to support. And I'm grateful that I did step out of my comfort zone and ask.
And
Was that
I
a
feel
help? I didn't know that was a help. I was just thinking, oh, I'm
absolutely
gonna
was.
on this fun journey with Sheila.
And it has
And-
been fun.
And I feel blessed that I was being asked for help. So I got involved and I got new friends, and I'm in this awesome collaboration. What history we have been making together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So just another example of me frankly realizing that I couldn't do this alone, and willing to step out of that and ask for support. So once again, you two have been amazing, 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 amazing. And to Joy's point, I truly appreciate the collaboration.
Same here.
So last podcast, we talked about limiting beliefs, which led into what this looks like as far as how those limiting beliefs can possibly interfere with your willingness to ask for support. So we'll just put it out there to hopefully our hundreds, if not thousands of listeners, the challenge of how does a limiting belief interfere with possibly your ability to ask for support, ask for help when you need it.
Mm-hmm. I would also add one question, right? After you realize that, ask yourself, how would it look like if you did ask for help, or if you do ask for help?
Exactly. Great question. So thank you both for your time, particularly Hope, your willingness to share how for you that your limiting belief that led into hindering you, I'll say, from asking for help, but also recognizing what asking for help can do for you, particularly in times of need. Joy, thank you for sharing. And to our listeners, once again, think about it. What asking for help will do for you, and how much of a difference it can make in your life if you ask for help immediately, instead of being in your head and thinking about asking for help, and perhaps worrying that you may be judged in the process. So once again, thank you both. And this is Yeast, your energetic, authentic self today. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.